Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for coming.
Why are you doing this? Why make a YouTube series? Some people like death metal, some people like classical. Other people like One Direction. What do you care if not enough people listening to classical?
Do you not think that Coldplay is imaginative? Is that your point?
You've got some serious explaining to do, mister.
All right. I'm happy to answer any and all questions. Just give me a chance. You there.
Robert McJohnsington, Weekly Times. Really, why are you bothering to do this? Haven't you got anything better to do with your time?
Good question.
Thank you.
I'm making this series because I want to invite people to discover something unique and exciting. It is my firm belief that the music I write these videos about, a genre often called classical, represents a whole other world of music, a whole other way of experiencing music.
Other than what?
Well, other than what most of us are currently enjoying listening to. Let's put it like that.
Alpine yodeling?
My contention is that on one side we have the world of bands and beats, lyrics and chords, singles and feels. It is a world of great potency and expression for us. But I want to reveal to people another side of the equation, another musical world, a world of adventures, shapes and lines, characters, imagination. It is a world which I believe a great many people would love to come to know, but a world that can be all too difficult to visit. And some are not even sure how to find a decent travel agent.
Oh, so you're getting into the travel agency business.
In a way, yes.
Lola Plazazuka from Lola Buzz? Has it occurred to you that the reason hardly anybody listens to classical music anymore is because it actually is boring?
That's where I think you're wrong. I think that we've become so used to experiencing music a certain way that we've become closed off to what else it has to offer us. I think that many of the elements which make classical music so strange and unappealing on the face of it to us are actually what gives it its unique power. A power to excite our imagination. A power to transport us to...
Oh, what power? The music I listen to is more powerful than ever. It's immediate, it's louder, it has better beats, epic synths and awesome production. What on earth are we supposed to gain from this old, stuffy, out-of-date and downright lame tradition?
All right. You want to know why I think it's different?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, here's a few straightforward reasons why I think this is music ripe for the imagination.
This ought to be good.
In classical music, the sense of time is more fluid and free to move. We can be shown something quick and energetic, and then be transported to the slow and serene. This gives the music an opportunity to create things that just aren't possible when everything has to be tied to a fixed beat. There's also a greater freedom of the kinds of shapes and angles that this music is allowed to form. The fact that there's no designated chord player or rhythm keeper here, like there often is in a standard rock band, means that all these instruments are freed up to form all sorts of combinations and formations, to act as heroes or villains, to stand in the front of the piece or support in the back. There's also a greater freedom of dynamics and volume. This, more often than not, is a music designed to be played acoustically, without any electronic manipulation, in spaces where you can listen in to hear the secrets of the quietest whispered playing, as well as feel the awesome power of the most ferociously loud sounds. In contrast, much of the music we listen to from bands and otherwise is produced to be played on cafe radios, club sound systems, and Bluetooth speakers in a teenager's bedroom, and therefore by default has less room to move in terms of volume. Once again, this isn't necessarily a good or bad thing, but it does mean that classical music is just playing an entirely different game.
Well then just what game is it playing?
I'm glad you asked. I think what we expect from the world of bands, guitars, singers and verses is to feel something immediate. Lyrics we relate to, chord progressions that make us feel a certain way, beats that get us moving. It's more often than not a vehicle for the expression of personal stories and emotions. This is great, and it's a powerful and malleable formula. On the other hand, I think that the classical world is about creating a universe of sound, a place where musical shapes and ideas are free to take on a life of their own and be characters, scenes, the ground beneath your feet and the sky above your head. Is someone going to help him up?
You seem to be suggesting we won't feel anything from this music. No emotions.
No, you definitely will feel things, but more often than not, this will happen once you get to know the world that's been created for you. You can feel what it wants you to feel once you see what it wants you to see. It is a music which asks us to be mindful, to step into it as we would an unfamiliar building, taking in the architecture, the dimensions. It is music of the imagination.
That sounds weird and overly complicated.
I get that. That's why I'm making these videos. It's no use me trying to explain what this music has to offer you. I'd rather just show you. Each of my videos will take a particular piece of music from across the endless spectrum of art music. I'll illustrate things as we go on our particular journeys, but my illustrations will just be an aid. The real action comes from the notes themselves, and all I'm seeking to do is open them up to you.
Mandy J. Mullydrompton from Mandy Monthly. Did you just say art music?
I did, yes. I prefer to call this music art music, rather than classical music.
Oh my goodness.
Look, before you react, firstly, let me just say that I'm hardly the first person to use this term. Secondly, I'm not saying that music from the other side of things can't be art. Far from it.
Then just what the T-swizzle are you saying?
The main reason I use this term is because the term classical is so misleading.
It leads you to think that this music is something which only existed in the dusty old past, while there are so many composers around the world today who are still writing contemporary music for orchestras, really fresh and imaginative music. It doesn't make much sense to call them classical composers. I'd also want to mention that the world of music that I'm talking about stretches in so many different stylistic directions, and the period of music we refer to as classical actually only represents a rather small piece of that pie.
So, since it's a world of music which aims to paint pictures of sound in your head, I feel that art music is a more fitting term to sum it all up.
Do you really think people are going to be interested in this?
Yes, I do. I, like everyone else, love to be transported, to escape sometimes. We love to be shown hidden worlds. At the movies, have you ever wondered why the fantastical worlds of Star Wars or Harry Potter are brought to life using a symphony orchestra rather than guitars and synthesizers? This music is designed from the ground up to harness your imagination. And that enchanting opportunity awaits us in the art music world. It works for us in the movies because we're shown pictures and stories to go with the music we're hearing. In art music, it's up to your own head to do that. And I, for one, believe in your head.
One more question.
Fire away.
Where do babies come from?
This interview is over.
Oh, come on.